Why are things so expensive?
Jaden, it's a fairly complex answer, but I do have an answer for you, okay? When COVID started, the chip makers and the semiconductor makers paused their production to take care of their workers because nobody knew exactly what COVID was at the time. At the same time, the automakers cut way back on their orders for chips in semiconductors because they anticipated there would be a dramatic drop in demand for new vehicles. Well, as it turns out, COVID wasn't quite as bad as the chip makers thought, so they went back to work. At the same time, there was a huge demand for personal electronic devices, Xboxes, laptops, tablets, and about 100 other different types of personal electronic devices I can't even name. So the chip makers started funneling all their production towards the chips that fit in those personal electronic devices. Well, a couple months into the pandemic, the automakers, it dawned on them that demand was not going down like they thought it was, so they went back to making vehicles. Except now they couldn't get the chips and the semiconductors that they needed. So there was a limited supply of new vehicles, and the law of supply and demand kicks in. First, it dramatically increased the prices of new vehicles, but then it had a trickle-down effect, because if people couldn't find new vehicles, guess what they had to settle for? Used vehicles. So the demand for used vehicles increased rather dramatically. Then a couple of other factors kicked in. People quit using public transportation because of COVID and then subsequently crime. So there was more of a demand for used vehicles for personal commuting vehicles. So now we've got the demand increasing and the supply decreasing. Because there weren't very many new vehicles, nobody was trading in used vehicles to buy new vehicles. The rental car companies suddenly became extremely short of new vehicles, so they started buying used vehicles at the auction. So it got completely crazy. Used vehicles have been appreciating in value for the last 18 to 24 months. In fact, last year they went up 30% on average in value. So cars and trucks, which have always depreciated since really the beginning of building cars and trucks, now they're appreciating assets. Then we get the Russia-Ukraine war, which further complicates things because much of the materials used to make cars and trucks comes from Russia: palladium, nickel, and aluminum. So now we can't get that from Russia, so we've got a supply train issue, and that is why used cars are more expensive today. But the good news is any vehicle you have in your household is worth more than it was a year ago. How does that sound?
Great.
If you liked what you saw, click the like button down there, share this video, subscribe to the channel, click on the little alarm, and I will make sure that you are alerted every time I upload a new video. And we upload lots of videos on lots of different topics every single week. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, share.